Descendancy research, how to find a name to take to the temple. What is a descendant? They are people who are born after me, my children, grandchildren, and so forth. Ancestors are the people born before me, my parents and grandparents. How many descendants do you have? One couple with 4 children times 7 generations equals over 10,922 people. You have 32 7th generation couples, which equals 349,000 plus people. Counting the descendants of these 349,000 people, it will exceed 8 million people. Clicking on this arrow will bring up 4 ways to view your tree. We will want to start out viewing our tree in fan chart view. Then we will go around our tree clicking on the male of each couple to view their descendants. We will choose a couple born in the late 1700s to view their children, grandchildren, great-grandchildren, and so forth, till we see who might need temple work. So I don't miss any lines, I might start with Marcus Oberholzer, gather information on his descendants, then go to Louis Stevens, then go to Jonathan McNeil, and so forth until I have gone around the whole fan chart. I will choose 6 generations, but you might have to go out 7 generations to see those born in the late 1700s. So when you are finished looking at Descendancy line, click on the arrow beside the word Descendancy to bring up the drop-down, then click on Fan Chart, then click on the Home icon, and it will bring you back to the fan chart with you at the center person. So to start looking for descendants, click on a name, and when the summary box comes up, click on Tree. Click on the arrow beside Fan Chart to bring up the drop-down menu and click on Descendancy. On the top left, you want to check 4 generations. Under Options on the top right, be sure the temple ordinances, record hints, and data problems and spouses have a check mark beside them. Uncheck portraits because it takes up too much room. Your portraits will still be in there, they just won't show up on this screen. At first glance, you'll want to look for green boxes, which may mean temple work needs to be done, and also yellow boxes, which mean there isn't enough information, so putting in the information may qualify a person to have their temple work done. Blue boxes are source hints. Red squares mean there are data problems, like duplicates or dates and places that have not been standardized. Clicking on any of these boxes will bring up more information. The program will only show up to 3 hints or data problems on these drop-downs, but often there are more to be seen on the details page, as indicated by the number here. So you might want to go into their details page to see all of them. A word about standardizing dates and places. There can be no abbreviations, and at least a country has to be included for the place. And you cannot say of Higginsville, for example. So click on the word Edit, and in the next pop-up, put your cursor at the end of the date or place and hit the space bar, and a list of standardized dates and places will come up, and you can click on the appropriate one. Having a standardized date and place is how the search engines work, so even if your date is exactly the same as theirs, you have to choose theirs. Now dates and places are standardized. If only the duplicates were that easy to fix. Don't see many green boxes? Every place there is an arrow, it means you can open that person up to expand their line and see their spouse and children and their children. I will open just a few of these, and you can see here it exposes many more temple opportunities. Don't ignore the people who don't have errors beside their name. They could still have a spouse and children. They just haven't been found yet. There are no errors out from Charles William McClure, but on the blue hint death record it shows his parents and that he was married. It doesn't give his wife's name, but with a little research we could probably find her and maybe some children. No family errors for William McNeil Buckley, but opening up this blue hint marriage record for him shows that he was probably married, so click on those blue hints beside a name. A couple could have children that are not showing up too, so check the blue hints for census records or birth records. Opening up Ralph Barnett Buckley's family only showed a wife. The blue hint didn't indicate any children, but going into Ralph's person page in FamilySearch and opening up all his hints showed he did have at least 2 children in the 1930 census. Ancestors have to be over 110 years old for us to do their temple work. If this was the year 2019, anyone born later than 1908 will have to have permission from the nearest relative before we can do their temple work. If you know the exact day or month of a person born in 1909 and their birthday has passed, they can qualify to have their temple work done without permission. Otherwise, a person born in 1909 will have to wait till the end of the year. So this page, all the green boxes, only Aussie Paul Wolford qualifies for temple work under the 110-year rule, and maybe Gladys Wolford if we get her exact day and month and the date has passed. Look at the dates before you grab a person to do temple work for. Were the children born before the parents? Were the parents old enough to have these children? Also be aware of duplicates within a family. Here is an example of 4 duplicate children. Each is represented with 1 living and 1 deceased person. Look at the blue hints. Looks like Forrest is officially deceased from these hints, so you would want to attach these sources to the deceased Forrest, and then go into the living Forrest, kill him off, and mark him deceased with the death and dates, and then merge the 2 Forrests. FamilySearch won't let you merge a living person with a deceased person. They both have to be deceased. The other children are too young to do work for at this time without permission, but you would still want to resolve the duplicates with sources. When I find a spouse, I can do all of his or her temple work and their children and their families. I can seal a spouse of my direct line to their parents, even if the parents don't have their other work done. I cannot, however, do the spouse's parents or the spouse's siblings' temple work. So what do you do with that name once you find it? You can submit that name to the temple. You can reserve that name on your temple reservation list where you continue to find sources and check for duplicates. If anything changes as a result of your research, it will be reflected on the temple list as well. Check for duplicates in family tree. What counts as a source? Any government or church record. Try to find as many as you can, at least 1 source as a child and 1 as an adult. Any hints or records you find in FamilySearch you can attach directly. If you find a source from a place other than FamilySearch, you can create a source from the Family Tree Details page. All dates and places have to be standardized, no abbreviations. If an ancestor is younger than 110 years old, you have to get permission from the nearest living relative, a spouse, parent, child, or sibling, before doing their temple work. President Nelson said, "The Lord is hastening his work to gather Israel. That gathering is the most important thing taking place on the earth today. Nothing else compares in magnitude. Nothing else compares in importance. Nothing else compares in majesty. And if you choose to, if you want to, you can be a big part of it." In conclusion, I want to add that there is an overwhelming feeling of love and gratitude that come to you so very powerfully when you get involved with this work. You will love having these feelings, and it will keep you coming back again and again. Thank you for watching, and may you find joy in your service.